dynamically. How to deal with the arrays. One simple example we saw. So we designed one example working with array. So in the data types, now we need to understand another one. Yeah, yesterday I give this example. So in this example, what we learned extra is how we can add items dynamically. How we can add items dynamically. So we learned about adding and creating items dynamically. To create elements, so we used a document.create element, and to add items we used append child, right? So later we will do one more example which will clearly handle the arrays, right? As of now, first important what we discussed is how to deal with array, and generally dynamic options also we learned dynamically how to deal with that. Next important is, after understanding working with array, in examples we will use various options. You need to know about another important type, that is we have to understand about object type. Technically JavaScript object types and how to deal with them. Actually, the purpose of object type is nothing but technically, so object is used to store data. Object is used to store data and logic. Actually, object comprises of data and logic, right? So object comprises of data and logic. Data is stored in properties and in functions. Data is stored in properties and logic is in functions. So technically object contains data and logic. Data is stored in properties and logic is in functions. Important is the properties and methods and functions. The properties and functions in an object. So contains data and logic, and the properties and functions within object can be accessed. Within object can be accessed by using this keyword, actually this keyword. And outside the object you can access them by using, and outside the object you can access them by using. Technically you can access them by using object name by using object name. That means actually object is created like this syntax. We have var some object name, and its properties, object related objects are enclosed in flower brace, are defined in flower brace. Actually, object array is defined in square brace. Object related details are defined in flower brace. And usually JavaScript object contains property, colon, and a value, comma. It can have a function. So that means a function. So it is written as function. We define like this. So we can have property name, and we have function name, and any functionality. Technically, object comprises of both data and logic. Data is stored in properties, and logic functionality is stored in the functions. They are stored in the functions. That is how actually it works. Okay. Next important how it works is we will see. And a property can contain any type of data. Generally, properties in an object can contain any type of data. So you should know that properties can contain both primitive or non-primitive types. Non-primitive type data. Properties can contain both primitive and non-primitive type data. That's what actually the point about properties. So they can contain both primitive and non-primitive, right? So how to create them? How do we configure them? Let's see. First, we will see an example of how do we deal with the data. We can use that for presenting and interacting in various locations actually. Suppose, see, so I am adding here a new object. First, we will see how it works, how it is designed. Now here, we are creating a script and a function, okay. And first we will learn the syntax, how to create it. Where product is an object. This product object contains the details which are enclosed in flower brace. Now product is an object. It can contain properties like name and its value with colon. It can be any type like string type. So suppose it is some Samsung TV like this, and its price and some price, and we define here the value like is in stock, and here we say true like this. We define quantity QTY, it is 2 like this. Now I want that means it contains these details. Even it has some, suppose shipped to. It is array type again. That means an object contains a property which can be array type. So shipped to, it can be shipped to Delhi, right? And it can be shipped to Mumbai. So like this, you can define like this. And it can contain functions, logic. Logic is defined in methods, functions like total. Total is a function. What this total function have to do? It should return the product quantity and price. Inside object, the quantity and price are the members in the same object. The members of same object are accessed within the object. That means it should return, that function should return this dot qty quantity into this dot price. So this is a keyword which is used to access the members of the current object. So in the product object, we are accessing the members by using this keyword, this dot quantity and this dot price. Okay, now here we have another function, that is print. All the properties and functions are separated with comma, and print is also a function. What this print function should do, it should print all product details, all product details. Then what we can do here is document dot write. Right, I can design, so I will design a DL, data list. I will design a DL. In the data list, we will design a DT. DL is the data list. We design DT, data term. I told you backticks, we will use backtick. In the data term, I want to print name. Okay. And here I want to get data definition. In data definition, I want to print the product name. Then you can put a dollar and expression here, this dot name. Because we are accessing within the same object, we can use the keyword this. Okay. Similarly, another data term, this data term close, this is price. And price, here I will define data definition and data definition close. Dollar, here I am using, so this dot price. Okay, another data term and data term close, and here we are defining, so we have one more option, so is in stock. That means is in stock. Okay, data definition. Here we are running an expression, so this dot is in stock. Actually it is true or false. That means is in stock is showing true or false, but we will play in a proper logic, like what I will do is I will put a parenthesis, this dot stock is equal to true, then question mark, I am using ternary operator, question mark will print available, and comma, so sorry, colon, I will print out of stock. So we are printing the expression. So here, if it is true, available, otherwise out of stock. Another data term, and here we said, so quantity, and quantity should be displayed in data definition. I'm using data definition, okay, DD. And here we are defining, so quantity, so that is this dot qty. Okay, so now once you defined this, one more is there, ship to data term and data term close. Here shipped to cities list is there, it is an array, and data definition, we should print the array is dollar, so we have to say this dot ship to is an array, then we will use dot to string, it will print the array elements separated with commas, right? And one more last one, I am using data term, that is a total, I am using total, and total is returned by a total function, data definition, how to call the total function. We have to use dollar $for base, and this dot we have to use total method. That's how it's going to handle the situation. So this is all the function, means just we presented the output in a proper format with the terms and definitions properly. We can do that. So that means now here all the data is present in this object. What is the specialty here is we can reuse this data. The main intention of maintaining an object is to reuse it. We can reuse it without rewriting every time. For example, I can use this for one object. So initially we have some sample data. Actually, we can keep it empty. We can keep it empty. So later we can put the data and we can use the data. Initially, we have some data. We can later use it for various. For example, we can keep it empty actually. So this is name empty. So we have name empty. We have price 0. And this is true or false. This is 0. And this is array. Array is empty. So empty. Array is empty. Like this, we are presenting this empty. That means nothing is there first. We just created an object which contains all the data and logic. Now, what data it should handle, we have to deal with that, right? So what we are doing here, if I want to access that, I want to access that and use it. So after the object is finished, here I'm accessing. So object is created. Now I can reuse it across various locations. For example, how to reuse it? So we can create an object. We can access that and we can use it. Print, we can call this as product. We can call it as a product. And important is a product dot. We can call all the details. Name is equal to Samsung TV, like this. So we have product dot price is equal to some price. So and product dot is in stock is equal to true. And product dot here we have shipped to is equal to, it's an array. So we have Delhi. So we have Hyderabad, like this. We have defined it. Now product dot quantity is equal to 2, like this, right? That means we are accessing the details and we are using the details. And I want to print the product, then product dot print. Print is the method. Methods are called like this, function. Now you can see the product function is printing all these details. That means now we are passing some data into it and we are printing. And what we will do here is whenever we are presenting data list, because it is in data list, I will do one thing. I will use a style and I will keep DL, data list. Wherever data list comes, I will use border as 2 pixel, solid, dark cyan. And I say here border radius as 10 pixel. And I will put padding as 20 pixel. And I will put float left. And I will put margin left as 20 pixel, like this. Now what is the intention of this is, you can see that when I run this, it should print the details of the first product here. It should print the details of the first product here. You can see all the product details comes. And in the style I'm using, so data term. So wherever data term is there, DT. So I will put a background color background color as light cyan. I will put a background color for data terms, and you can see the data terms we have. Suppose background color, suppose I say gray. Okay, and color say white. And you can see the background will be like this. For terms and details, we are printing in this way. Name, price, is in stock, quantity, total. We are printing the product details. And very important is now I can reuse this data and logic. This is one product. I will write another product. That means again product dot name. This time it is suppose some Nike casuals. Okay, and product dot price is equal to some 4,000. Okay, and product dot is in stock is equal to false, and product dot shipped to is equal to different cities. Suppose I said here Mumbai and Hyderabad, so like this, and some Chennai like this. You can add, you can define, so multiple. And here I am defining product dot quantity is equal to 3, is equal to 3. And we are trying to print that again, product dot print. So we are printing the details again. And you can see when I refresh, I can reuse the data here. I can reuse the data here, right? So that means we can access and reuse the data. We are trying to print the details and configure the details. And when you are trying to print and configure the details, we can reuse it. But here the intention of reusing is, we have problem is print not function. So here where we went wrong somewhere, print is, sorry, price wrong, right? So price is defined. Okay. Now I will save this and I will refresh here, and you can see that it will print the details also here. This is another product related details. That means we are accessing the data and we are reusing the data and we are printing the data. So that means we are managing the data. So generally you can see price is giving a lengthy number. For that you will learn later some functions to round the values and display the values. We will learn about mathematical functions, how to deal with them and use them. Right? Initially, this is reusing the data. We can reuse the data. We can reuse the data and the logic and the logic. So here important is we are presenting, we are creating an object that contains all the data and we are reusing it, right? Actually, this is now more simplified by using class-based programming. In the OOP concepts, you will learn instead of directly defining object, you will learn how to create class and how to deal with the classes, right? But initially you should know what is the purpose of an object and how do we deal with the objects. So these are objects. This is one object. This is another object. So we are keeping all the logic at one place and we are reusing it. So that is what actually the concept of object, how we can deal with the object. So example, this is an example. Here important is, if you want to access any object related property or method within the class, within that particular object, we have to use the keyword this. Outside, we have to use the object name. By using object name, we can access. So later with OOP concepts, we can make it more better. Now important, this is actually object. This is how actually object looks like. Object configures everything. Now important is we need to understand that suppose if I define square brace, that means you are representing an array. And if I am defining a flower brace, that means I am representing an object. Actually, if I can use a square brace with the objects, you can see. So that means it is a collection of several objects. Actually, it is array of objects. And if the data is like this in an array type of objects, usually we call this mechanism as a JSON type. JSON type. That means JavaScript object notation. But it is not pure JSON. JSONs you will learn later. In the next point, we will understand about that. But it is nothing but data arranged in an array, and it comprises of collection of several objects. An array with collection of objects with some set of properties and methods, we generally call this as JSON. That means it is actually called as JavaScript object notation. Object notation. Actually, JSON type representation is different. We will see that how we can use JSON type representation. But technically, this is what actually data is, and this is how actually data is maintained. Data is maintained in a JSON format actually. That means, for example, if you have data in database and you need to deal with the data present in database, then this is how we generally deal with it. It comprises of all that. I will show you, we will see that how we can manage that JSON type data. Observe carefully here. In our previous example, means how to deal with the JSON type data actually, how we can manage JSON type data. You see in our previous example, in our array manipulation here. So this is array related one example. Yeah, this is array related. In this example, we designed like this. We designed like this. Now here I click on next record will come. I click on previous record will come. Here we are using collection of just pictures. But actually every product may contain collection of several details, like I will show you now. What we can do here is, in this collection, you see currently products is having only pictures. Products is having only pictures. It is having only pictures. That means it's an ordinary array. It is an ordinary array. It is an ordinary array. It is having only pictures. It is an ordinary array. But every product contains so many details like name, price, and everything. Then what we can do here is, so here we can maintain the data like this. What we can do is we can maintain an object here. We can maintain an object. And in that object, this is a photo. Photo is an property. Photo property contains. So this is an object. In an object photo property contains the path of image. And similarly, it will contain other details. Name is Samsung TV. Okay. And comma. So price is some 34,000, comma. And photo is this path. This time, now it is an array, and array of object. Currently one object. So that means we are maintaining a collection of objects. And observe carefully here, the name is a property, but it is in an array. That means this first object, this is the first object in array. That is the first object in array. This is the first object in array. That means it is present at index 0. index 0. This is the first object which is present at index 0. That means now how we generally access. That means actually your data is like this, where products is equal to, it's an array. In the array, we are using an object. And in the object, we have name. So some name. And we have some price. So some price. And we have some photo and some path. And this is the object. Usually, how we can access the name details and all this, you can maintain several objects. You can maintain several objects. Then how you can access the first product name, price and details? You know that products array means 0, 0, that's first property. In that dot name, that's how we access. That means product 0 means into the first object. And at 0, it is an object. Then, how you can access the object is just you have to use, means a product of 0, we have an object and the object have a property called name, we are accessing it. Similarly, products of 0 and the price. This is first object related name and price. If I want second object name and price, then I have to use here 1, then 2, like that. That is how we can maintain an array of objects. That is how actually the data is maintained. That is the best way to maintain the data and deal with the data. Actually, here we are doing that. So then see how we can manage this. See this in this example. Now this is another object. This is another object. So in this object, so photo, and it is so having the photo. Name I will give as Nike casuals. Okay, and price I will define as price. Okay, and the photo is this path. Photo is that path. That is set. Now we will make this into an object. Again, this photo, and other details will be like this. We have a name, so this is related to mobile, and some price. Price is some price. So price and photo. Like this, we need to maintain all the objects. Here, I need another object, and this is object. So define this as an object, configure this as an object, and this is again photo, and we have other details. Name as suppose JBL speaker. Okay, and price as some price. So price, and photo is photo. Okay, that's how we need to maintain all our data. So the last one, that means this is a collection of data. And here I will photo is this, and name as some earpods. Okay, and price is some price. Okay, and we have the photo. Now the point is how you are going to display it. That is important. Only the concept is very simple. This time, so how you want to display the photo? Generally, photo is displayed by not directly slide to value them. What we have to do is we need to use this technique. What we have to do is slider dot value dot photo that contains the path. Also, we need to get 0 photo that contains the path. On button click also, previous click, we have to use, we need to get the photo. That means the count dot photo. And here also, we need to just use count dot photo. So because this time it is present in an array. Usually when I refresh, currently it is same. It is not having any difference. It is same. The point is now this contains so many details we can display. For example, the product, this is card. In the card, we have the details here. This is the card body. In that we are displaying the photo. We are displaying the photo. Then we can change the presentation in a better way. Change the presentation. What I will do is above the image. So here I am defining some, this entire presentation can be in one location because we need to better maintain column wise, row wise, and keep the presentation in a correct manner, right? So that will be better. That will be better. So because this is image actually, that means here image, and this is the image. I want to display the title at the top and price at the bottom. Then we need to maintain your presentation in a correct manner. Maintain your presentation in a correct manner. For example, here I kept a heading, and ID as name. So prod name. Okay. Here I want to display the product name. And here below that, I will define another heading, and I will define ID as prod price. Product name and product price above and below. We have defined that actually. Now we define the but now. It's okay. Why? Because we are having above and below. Later you can design. Here the point is product name should be displayed in this heading, product in this heading. That means when user clicks the previous or button, so when body loads, I need to get the first product here. So what we have to do, document get element by ID, that is prod name is dot inner HTML because it is heading. What should be displayed? Products of 0 dot name. That means first product name will come. Similarly, document dot get element by ID prod price dot inner HTML is equal to we need to define products of 0 products of D0 dot price, and it will get the price of the first product. You can see the details will come like this. Later you can change the alignment and adjustment of your buttons, right? Now you can see this is the first product. So it is Samsung TV, its name and its price. And of course, when we are displaying the price temporarily, suppose I am using in the quotes ampersand hash 8377 semicolon, I defined like this, and plus I want to display that. That means it will be displayed in a price format like this. But very important is on next button and previous button click or on slider move, next photo is coming. But for that photo, this details should change. But means on the change, these details also should change. That means the same thing you have to do in the previous and next options also. That means when user moves the slider, when user is changing the slider, we are getting the slider value and display only in photo. Now what we have to do is we have to use document get element by ID, that is prod name dot inner HTML is equal to products of slider value dot name. We need to get the name. And similarly, document get element by ID prod price dot inner HTML is equal to products of slider value dot price. Now what is this happens now is when I refresh here, when I am moving the slider, the second product details will come and the third product details will come. And here every product details will be independent, right? It will be displaying. That means we are now maintaining the data. We are maintaining the data. The price also should be displayed again with the same approach. That means I have to use ampersand hash 8377 semicolon and plus, and you can see the same thing is happening here. I click, I move the slider, then it has to get that and display. I need to get that and display. Slider is moving, then it is displaying. Similarly, when I click on previous, so on previous or on click on next, then also it should display the same, display the same. But it is not yet done because we need to do that logic also. For that also, again, we need to modify everything. On next click, on previous click, we have to modify everything, right? That means here I click on that, then it has to get the next. Titles are not changing, only these details are changing. Titles are not changing, only these details are changing. Means photo is changing, other details are not changing. Then what we have to do is we need to do the same in our next click and previous click also. Now this is where we have to learn about code reusability. Code reusability, because we cannot write such logics again and again. See here what is happening. This logic, this logic, this logic, we have to write here. We have to write on body load. We have to write on previous click. We have to write on next click. That means we need to maintain the same logic everywhere. Only the point is from where the value is coming is changing. If the same logic is required at every location, then this is not the good way to write, because here what you are doing is you are writing again and again everything. No, what we have to do is we need to write logic in such a way that we can reuse it without rewriting it. So it looks very complex because every time I have to write this, see, these 3 lines are required several times, several times. And now we have to write them on previous click. We have to write them on next click also. Write them on next click also. To avoid that, we will see how to implement code reusability. Code reusability is nothing but, see, what we are doing is without rewriting the code, we can reuse the code. If you need these three lines in different locations, only the point is this index number will be changing. This index number will be changing. Then we have to implement reusability. How? I will tell you. Let me delete all this. Okay. So here on body load also we'll delete it. Okay. And here next click also picture related deleted. Picture related deleted. On next click and previous click deleted. We deleted that logic. So what we are doing, we are writing a function. So we are writing this function get details. This function is expecting an index number. And when you pass index number, that index number product details should come and display. That means now what we are doing, document get element by ID. So pick dot src, it should come from one by one we will use. That means here what we are doing is one is prod name, and dot. So prod name dot inner HTML. It should come from products of products part index dot name. Okay, fine. Sim document get element by ID. We will use prod price dot inner HTML is equal to products of index dot price. That means remember this index is not at all there. Later we will pass that index. Okay. And another is so here pick src is equal to src, it has to get pick dot products of index dot photo. It should get the photo. We designed this function having these details, and price I will maintain here %#8377 semicolon plus. Now this is a function called get details. When body loads, what should happen is we have to call the get details and pass index number 0. That's it. That means when body loads, get details function will be called. We will pass 0. The 0 will be taken here. 0 will be taken here. That means what will happen. So here products of 0 dot name, 0 dot price photo. That means it will put 0 in the place of index when body loads. So then what happens when body loads? You can see that first image is coming. That's good. Okay. Now when user uses change image, now change image, again we have to call get details. This time into the get details, we will pass slider value. That means slider value is passed into get details. That means now slider value is 0. This is 0. Slider value is 1. This is 1. That means it is passing the slider value. It is passing the slider value and it is using the slider value. That means this value will be changing according to the slider value. Then usually what should happen now? I will refresh. I will move the slider. Then the slider value will be passed into it. It will change the image. That looks good. Now important, on previous click, next click also, I want the same logic. Then what we do is on previous click, we have to call get details. This time we will pass count into it. That means count contains 0, minus, minus and all. And when user clicks next, again call get details. Into that pass the count. That means you return the 3 statements in one function and you are reusing everywhere. Now the logic looks simple. And I refresh here. You can see I click on the next button. Next images will come. Previous button, the previous details will come. And you can use this is working fine. The slider also working fine. That's how we have to manage. This is very important. And here, what is the additional thing we have done? Actually, I need this code four times, where slider change, body load, previous click, next click. Then we are not writing 4 times. We are writing it only one place. But every time the index will be passed into it, that index will be coming from different locations. On body load, we are passing index directly. On slider change, we are passing slider value into it. On next button, we are passing count value into it. On previous button, we are passing count value into it. That means one function can be accessed and used at several locations, which allows us to reuse the logic. That makes our logic very simple and easy. Here, the main intention is to understand how do you deal with this data. That means here, previously we maintained only one photo, but now we are maintaining a lot of details for every object. That means every object contains name, photo, and price. All are related to one. And when I click on next, the next one will come, So when I move this, the previous will come. That means previous and next options will be working here. Important to understand this, you need to use the data in this format. That will be better for understanding. Here, our main intention is to use the same concept, but only slight change we have done is instead of one detail, it contains lot of details. Every information is present here. Remember, lot of other details can be maintained. Complex data can be maintained in an object. But this is one simple example. This is one simple example. How we can maintain that. This is all previous example only. In the previous example, we made slight change. Instead of using only photo for every product, we are using 3 details for every product. That is how we are doing this object. That means every product contains a name, it contains a price, it contains a photo. For every product, we are maintaining the details and managing it. This is how the actions work. This is how actually it works. So like this, how to deal with object type data and work with object type data. We will see one more example. Another example I will show you how you can dynamically deal with the data with an object type. Then you will get more clarity on that, right? So we will see one more example. How do we deal with objects and data? Actually, if there is large amount of data, you need to use like this, right? Complex data. This is again the same example. But this time I changed this example and we maintained a lot of data here. And we are creating a reusable function and we are accessing it everywhere and configuring it everywhere. This is our own function and we created it because we need these 3 lines every time, so many times. So it's not recommended to write every time, just reuse it. That's what the importance of this. So once you know this, now we can see some more examples by using this JSON type of data, right? That we'll see tomorrow, right? Tomorrow we will continue with this. And tomorrow I will give you some more examples on this object type data. Then you will get more clarity on this. Okay, right? You can try this. Then tomorrow we can continue with the other options. Okay.